Hello ASNL Stage News. Glad to have you back to your daily destination of Gunners updates and latest transfer news. Here we go again. Ange Postecoglou endured a miserable return to North London as Arsenal fans targeted the former Tottenham boss with a barrage of chants during Nottingham Forest's visit to the Emirates. The Australian, who only 115 days ago guided Spurs to Europa League glory against Manchester United in Bilbao, was back in familiar territory for his first game in charge of Forest. Despite his success at Tottenham, his tenure was cut short in the summer, leaving many supporters stunned after he had brought silverware and a renewed sense of pride to the club. But Arsenal fans were in no mood to welcome him warmly. From the moment Martin Zubimendi fired the Gunners ahead, with a stunning strike on 32 minutes, the home supporters launched into X-rated songs aimed squarely at Postecoglou. A reworked version of the classic "Cheer Up" chant mocked both his appearance and Forest's struggles, while the infamous "You're getting sacked in" the morning line echoed repeatedly around the stadium. Postecoglou, no stranger to hostile environments from his Celtic days in the Old Firm derby, responded with a sarcastic gesture towards the stands, a small but telling reaction that Spurs fans watching on TV would have recognized instantly. Yet it was a tough afternoon overall for the 59-year-old, who saw his new side outclassed and himself treated as pantomime villain. To make matters worse for Arsenal, though, their victory came at a cost. Captain Martin Odegaard was forced off in tears after just 18 minutes, aggravating a shoulder injury he had previously suffered against Leeds. The Norwegian playmaker initially attempted to continue after treatment, but was replaced by teenager Ethan Nwaneri, leaving Mikel Arteta with another major injury concern. Odegaard's early exit adds to a growing list of absentees for the Gunners. Bukayo Saka and William Saliba are already sidelined, while Kai Havertz is nursing a knock of his own. With a daunting run of fixtures looming, including Champions League commitments and top-four rivals on the horizon, Arteta faces a serious headache in midfield creativity and squad depth. In the end, Arsenal supporters left delighted at the win and their ability to taunt a familiar foe, while Postecoglou trudged away knowing his Premier League return has started under intense scrutiny. For the Australian, rebuilding Forest will take time, but his sarcastic defiance on the touchline showed he has not lost his trademark edge, even in the most hostile of circumstances. Leandro Trossard, facing uncertain future for club and country. Leandro Trossard is reportedly at risk of losing his place in the Belgian national team as he struggles to deliver consistent performances at both international and club level. The Arsenal forward has often been viewed as an important attacking option, but with form dipping and competition intensifying, his future at the highest levels of the game looks increasingly uncertain. At Arsenal, Trossard finds himself in a challenging situation. While the club demonstrated their desire to keep him by offering an improved contract during the last transfer window, they also added further depth in attacking positions. New arrivals such as Noni Madueke and Eberechi Eze, combined with the presence of Gabriel Martinelli, have pushed Trossard further down the pecking order. Realistically, he may feature in around 30 competitive matches this season across all competitions, but many of those appearances could come from the bench. For a player who thrives on rhythm and regular starts, this limited role could further hamper his effectiveness. On the international stage, Trossard is also facing growing pressure. Once a regular starter for Belgium, he now sees his place under threat from younger talents who bring fresh energy and dynamism to the side. Reports from Voetbal Primeur suggest that national team selectors are beginning to question his long-term role, with Jeremy Doku and Malik Fofana increasingly making their case for inclusion. Both players have impressed when given opportunities, and there is a growing sense that Belgium look more balanced and dangerous in attack without Trossard in the starting lineup. The wider picture indicates that Trossard is approaching a transitional phase in his career. At 29, he is no longer seen as part of the next generation of Belgian football, and the rise of younger players could mean his influence gradually fades. The challenge for him will be to stay sharp and seize whatever opportunities come his way, both with Arsenal and Belgium. His versatility across the front line remains an asset, but he must deliver performances that justify his inclusion ahead of younger, hungrier rivals. Ultimately, Trossard is facing one of the most testing moments of his career. Unless he can rediscover consistency and adapt to the new competitive landscape, both his club and international prospects could diminish significantly. The coming months will be decisive in determining whether he can re-establish himself as a key figure, or whether his role at the top level begins to fade. It's good news to all Arsenal fans as Bukayo Saka is back in training in this week of international break, and he is ready to play match against Nottingham Forest this weekend. Arsenal injury update includes Saliba, Saka, and Havertz. Latest news and return dates. Arsenal face a testing period after the international break with several key players battling injury problems at a crucial stage of the season. Mikel Arteta's side suffered a setback before the pause in fixtures with a narrow 1-0 defeat away to Liverpool, and their growing injury list is adding to the challenges ahead of a busy September. The Gunners return to Premier League action against Nottingham Forest next weekend, before high-profile clashes with Manchester City and Newcastle, a Champions League opener away to Athletic Club in Bilbao, and a Carabao Cup tie against Port Vale. That schedule means Arteta will be desperate to have some of his stars available, though doubts remain over a number of them. The most worrying concern surrounds William Saliba, who twisted his ankle in the warm-up at Anfield. The French defender attempted to play through the issue, but lasted only 5 minutes before being replaced by summer signing Christian Mosquera. He subsequently pulled out of France duty for World Cup qualifiers, and reports in L'Équipe suggest he could miss 3 to 4 weeks. If accurate, Saliba would sit out as many as 7 matches, including crucial encounters against City, Newcastle, and Olympiacos. Meanwhile, Bukayo Saka faces another spell on the sidelines after suffering a hamstring injury in the 5-0 rout of Leeds on August 23rd. Unlike his previous setback that required surgery last December, this time no operation is needed, though Arteta has admitted the repeated issues are concerning. The England winger has been ruled out for a few weeks and missed national team duty, with hopes that he could recover in time for the September 21st showdown with City. Kai Havertz also adds to the headache after undergoing minor knee surgery. The German international picked up the problem after appearing off the bench at Old Trafford and is expected to be out for many weeks, according to Arteta. While the club remain optimistic, it will not stretch into months. It is another frustrating blow for a player who missed much of last season through injury. Elsewhere, Martin Odegaard has returned following a shoulder complaint and featured for Norway during the break, offering some relief for Arteta. Ben White, who started against Manchester United, continues to build fitness after previous knee surgery, though he remains under careful management. With a demanding run of fixtures ahead, Arsenal's depth will be tested. Arteta and fans alike will hope for swift recoveries, particularly for Saliba and Saka, whose influence remains vital in their pursuit of success both domestically and in Europe. Leandro Trossard Arsenal exit truth. As Albert Sambi Lokonga fee revealed, Arsenal faced significant interest in their players during the summer transfer window, with Leandro Trossard and Albert Sambi Lokonga both attracting headlines. Despite speculation, the Gunners managed to keep hold of Trossard, while Lokonga departed in a move that highlights the club's financial strategy. Leandro Trossard, who joined Arsenal from Brighton in January 2023, was the subject of late transfer interest from several European clubs. Roma made a concrete approach for the Belgian forward in the final week of the window, but Arsenal swiftly rejected it. Borussia Dortmund and Fenerbahce had also shown interest earlier in the summer. However, after recently signing a new contract with Arsenal, one that provided a pay rise but did not extend his deal beyond 2027, Trossard reaffirmed his commitment to Mikel Arteta's squad. Arsenal were keen to acknowledge his contribution since his arrival, making it clear he would not be available for transfer. That said, there remains a sense that Trossard could seek a fresh challenge at the end of the season, particularly as he edges closer to the final years of his contract. With Arsenal boasting strong attacking depth following the arrivals of Eberechi Eze and Noni Madueke, competition for forward roles has intensified, raising questions about the futures of both Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli, who remains a key figure in Arteta's plans, was on the radar of Bayern Munich and Barcelona this summer. Neither club was willing to meet Arsenal's valuation, but the Brazilian continues to be seen as a player who could generate a significant fee should the Gunners need to balance their books in the near future. Given financial pressures and profitability and sustainability rules (PSR), Arsenal are aware that at least one major sale may be required soon. Meanwhile, Albert Sambi Lokonga's exit provided some relief to the wage bill. The Belgian midfielder, not in Arteta's long-term plans, secured a move away from North London on deadline day. The financial details were initially kept under wraps, but German sources have since revealed the fee to be as low as £260,000, with potential add-ons. Though modest, the move was seen as beneficial in removing his salary obligations from Arsenal's payroll. Internally, the club is striving to improve its revenue from player sales, a strategy increasingly important in the modern financial landscape. While Lokonga's departure reflects pragmatism, the decision to retain Trossard shows Arsenal's determination to remain competitive this season, even if tough choices await in the future. Arsenal are continuing to make headlines during the international break, with off-field developments potentially impacting Mikel Arteta's squad in the weeks ahead. Despite the closure of the English transfer window, the Gunners remain active behind the scenes as sporting director Andrea Berta looks to finalize possible outgoing deals. At the same time, concern has arisen over striker Victor Gyökeres, whose commitments away from football could affect his availability. The Swedish forward, one of Arsenal's marquee summer signings, has been named as a witness in an upcoming defamation trial in his home country. Gyökeres' agent, Hassan Setinkaya, has filed a lawsuit for gross defamation against Swedish publications Fotboll STHLM and Expressen. The outlets allege that Setinkaya and his agency, HCM Sports Management, had ties to organized crime, accusations that the agent strongly denies. According to reports from Sweden, the case will be heard next year in the Stockholm District Court. Gyökeres is not accused of any wrongdoing, but has agreed to testify on behalf of his agent. While the timeline of the trial has not been fully confirmed, the possibility that he may have to appear in court has raised questions about his potential absence from crucial Arsenal fixtures. This situation comes at a time when Arsenal are hoping for stability following a busy transfer window. The club spent close to £260 million on reinforcements, including Gyökeres, goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, midfielder Martin Zubamendi, winger Noni Madueke, defender Christian Mosquera, and attackers Eberechi Eze and Piero Hincapié. The investment underlined Arsenal's determination to mount a serious Premier League title challenge and finally end their two-decade wait for a domestic crown. Currently sitting third in the table, Arsenal endured a setback just before the break, suffering their first defeat of the season in a 1-0 loss to Liverpool. Arteta's side had previously enjoyed a perfect start, and the Spaniard will hope his new additions settle quickly to keep pace with the title challengers. With the squad spread across international duty, the manager is carefully planning ahead for Saturday's clash with Nottingham Forest, where 3 points will be seen as vital to regaining momentum. For now, Arsenal supporters will watch closely as Gyökeres balances his professional commitments with the legal process in Sweden. While there is no suggestion of wrongdoing on the player's part, any absence from the squad could prove disruptive during a season in which every detail may count in the hunt for silverware.